Blake Lively, once the golden girl of Hollywood, fashion icon, and adored star of Gossip Girl, now finds herself at the center of one of the industry's most explosive scandals. What started as a dream project, the film It Ends With Us, has turned into a legal and reputational war that's shaking Hollywood from the inside out. From court filings to leaked footage, from million-dollar lawsuits to public backlash, the story of Blake Lively's rise and fall is more than just celebrity drama. It's a clash of power, image, and truth. What went wrong? What are the real allegations? And why do so many people think this downfall was long overdue? Today, we break it all down, piece by piece. First, we need the backstory. She was the golden girl of Hollywood, the face of effortless glamour and charm. Blake Lively's story began long before she graced the Met Gala steps or fronted luxury brands. Born into a showbiz family in Los Angeles, she caught her first acting break in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants in 2005. But it was Gossip Girl, the show that defined an era, that transformed her into a global sensation. As Serena Woodsen, Blake became the poster child for style, sophistication, and Manhattan elegance. The tabloids adored her, the fashion world embraced her, and Hollywood saw her as the next big thing. From the age of Adeline to A Simple Favor, Blake carefully curated an image, glamorous but grounded, famous yet family-oriented. Her marriage to Ryan Reynolds only amplified her star power. Together, they were seen as Hollywood's most loved couple, funny, stylish, charitable, and scandal-free. She built her own business ventures too, from her lifestyle brand Preserve to collaborations with beauty companies. For years, she seemed untouchable, a celebrity who managed fame on her own terms. Then came It Ends With Us, a film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, a project that looked destined to elevate Blake even higher. The novel was massive, a book talk sensation that tackled heavy themes like domestic abuse and emotional trauma. Fans were emotional, protective, and deeply connected to the story. It was the kind of role that could redefine her career. Serious, meaningful, powerful. On paper, it was a perfect match. Blake Lively as Lily Bloom, Justin Baldoni as Ryle Kincaid, and a story that promised both romance and realism. Behind the scenes, cracks were already forming. Filming for It Ends With Us began in May 2023 in New Jersey. The rights had been acquired back in 2019, but after pandemic delays, industry strikes, and schedule shifts, production finally kicked off under Baldoni's direction. It Ends With Us wasn't just another romance, it was a story about domestic violence and survival. And early marketing efforts did not go as planned. Almost immediately, the film faced a backlash online. On TikTok, the same community that made Colleen Hoover's novel a hit began calling out the movie's promotional tone. Instead of empathy and awareness, many said the campaign felt glossy and tone-deaf. According to The Scotsman, critics accused the marketing team of romanticizing an abusive relationship. Things worsened when Blake Lively's interviews began circulating. In several promo appearances, she reportedly spoke more about her beauty ventures and Ryan Reynolds' liquor brand than the film's heavy subject matter. The Times of India noted that survivors and advocates were disappointed. They felt the film's message was being lost in celebrity promotion. But what the public didn't know was that behind the camera, tensions between Lively and Baldoni were escalating fast. According to documents later cited in FindLaw and multiple entertainment reports, Lively alleged that director Justin Baldoni had created a hostile work environment on set. The claims were serious: unwanted kissing, showing explicit videos or images to cast and crew, and even entering her trailer while she was undressed. Sources say that at one point, Blake called for a private meeting with Baldoni, producer Jamie Heath, and members of the production team. She allegedly laid out clear demands: stop the inappropriate behavior, ban any unscripted explicit content, and maintain professional boundaries. According to The Standard, this meeting marked the turning point in the production. The atmosphere on set reportedly soured. Blake stopped engaging with Baldoni outside of required scenes. Crew members noticed visible tension, cold exchanges, separate trailers, and a clear lack of chemistry during press events. By the time the first trailer dropped, online audiences had already picked up on the awkwardness. At the film's red carpet premiere, eagle-eyed fans noticed that Lively and Baldoni didn't pose together. Interviews were conducted separately, and body language experts online quickly began decoding every glance and gesture. Social media lit up with rumors. Was there bad blood, creative clashes, or something darker? No one knew for sure until the situation escalated from whispers to lawsuits. Then things turned legal. On December 20th, 2024, the Hollywood world stopped for a moment. Blake Lively, the picture of poise and perfection, filed a formal complaint with the California Civil Rights Department. In the 47-page filing, she accused Justin Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, and multiple producers of It Ends With Us of sexual harassment, misconduct, and retaliation. It was a stunning move. What had once been whispered about on gossip blogs was now documented in legal papers. According to the complaint, Blake detailed a disturbing pattern of behavior on set. She alleged that Baldoni made multiple unwanted physical advances, including touching her hair, brushing against her during rehearsals, and once attempting to kiss her under the guise of method direction. Even more alarming, she claimed that Baldoni entered her dressing room without permission, twice, including one instance when she was in the process of changing. The filing went further. Blake stated that Baldoni often made inappropriate comments about his own sex life and alleged pornography addiction, conversations that reportedly made her and other crew members deeply uncomfortable. According to Yahoo Lifestyle, Lively accused him of showing explicit videos and photos of women to male cast members, sometimes while she was sitting just a few feet away. She said the environment became toxic, unsafe, unprofessional, and humiliating. But what made the complaint even more explosive were the retaliation claims. Lively alleged that after she raised these concerns to producers, she was met not with support, but with punishment. Scenes were rewritten to diminish her role, promotional duties were shifted, and crew members close to her were quietly replaced. And then came the alleged smear campaign. In her filing, Lively claimed that Baldoni's PR team, along with senior members of Wayfarer Studios, launched a coordinated effort to destroy her credibility. Anonymous online accounts began leaking edited clips of behind-the-scenes footage, painting her as difficult and uncooperative. Tabloids ran anonymous quotes from sources close to production, suggesting she was jealous of Baldoni's creative control. According to Vogue, Lively's legal team cited these leaks as evidence of a deliberate attempt to silence her through public humiliation, a tactic they called character assassination through PR. Then, the counterattack came. On January 16, 2025, just 4 weeks after Lively's filing, Baldoni responded, not with a statement, but with a bombshell countersuit. In a $400 million defamation and extortion lawsuit, Baldoni named Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Lively's longtime publicist Leslie Sloan as defendants. He accused them of conspiring to destroy his career by planting false stories, manipulating the press, and threatening to release private communications unless he agreed to settle. According to court documents cited by Wikipedia, Baldoni claimed that Lively's team orchestrated a smear campaign disguised as a Me Too claim. He described the lawsuit as a fight for truth, alleging that the couple's influence in Hollywood made it impossible for him to find work after the accusations surfaced. In one shocking claim, Baldoni alleged that Ryan Reynolds personally contacted studio executives, warning them to stay away from him. The legal battle snowballed quickly. Both sides filed motions to dismiss, discovery requests, and injunctions to block press coverage. The Economic Times reported that Baldoni even filed a separate defamation lawsuit against the New York Times after the paper published an expose quoting anonymous crew members who supported Lively's version of events. And then came one of the most bizarre turns in modern Hollywood legal history. Baldoni's team requested to subpoena Taylor Swift. Yes, Taylor Swift, one of Blake Lively's closest friends and godmother to her child. According to Wikipedia, Baldoni's lawyers argued that Swift had direct knowledge of statements made by the defendants regarding Baldoni's conduct. The attempt was denied by the judge, but it set off a media frenzy. Headlines exploded. Fans speculated that private text messages between Lively and Swift could become evidence. For days, social media was flooded with hashtags like Stand With Blake and Justice for Justin. The PR war was just as vicious as the legal one. On January 21, 2025, Baldoni's attorneys released behind-the-scenes footage from the It Ends With Us set, supposedly to disprove Lively's claims. The short clip showed her laughing with the crew, joking with Baldoni, and appearing comfortable on set. But within hours, Lively's legal team fired back. They issued a statement through People.com saying, "Every frame released corroborates our client's complaint. These clips show selective moments, stripped of the harassment and manipulation that occurred before and after." The footage, they claimed, was cherry-picked to manipulate public perception, a tactic that only deepened the divide. Hollywood insiders began choosing sides. Some quietly supported Baldoni, calling him misunderstood, while others rallied behind Lively, praising her courage to speak out against a powerful male director. By February 2025, the story had turned into a full-scale industry meltdown. Every new filing became headline news. Both camps began bringing in top-tier crisis PR strategists and high-profile legal teams. The court of public opinion was as loud as the real one. The question now wasn't just who was telling the truth, but whose reputation would survive the fallout. So, how has this played out in court so far? By mid-2025, the legal showdown between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni had turned into one of the most watched cases in Hollywood history, but the tides were beginning to shift. On June 9, 2025, after months of explosive filings, hearings, and leaked evidence, a federal judge dismissed Justin Baldoni's $400 million defamation lawsuit against Blake Lively, along with his related $250 million case against the New York Times. According to Reuters, the court ruled that Lively's original complaint to the California Civil Rights Department was privileged communication, meaning it was a protected legal action that could not form the basis of a defamation claim. In short, she was legally entitled to make those allegations in the course of reporting harassment. The decision was a massive blow to Baldoni's camp. His lawyers vowed to appeal, but the ruling effectively stripped the foundation from his countersuits. The judge also dismissed his invasion of privacy claims, stating that the evidence presented, including text messages and alleged private recordings, did not meet the legal standard for extortion or malicious intent. Meanwhile, Lively's original case was still moving forward. As reported by AP News, the trial date was officially scheduled for March 9, 2026. It would determine whether Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, and associated executives were liable for workplace harassment, retaliation, and reputational harm. Until then, both sides continued to battle over discovery, the grueling legal process of exchanging evidence. There were smaller but significant developments too. According to EW.com, Lively's legal team withdrew certain emotional distress claims to narrow the focus of the case, while Baldoni quietly dropped several of his own pending motions in other jurisdictions. Discovery disputes dragged on for months over text messages, production footage, and internal Wayfarer emails. Each hearing brought new headlines, and every court document seemed to reignite the public debate. But while the legal chess game played out in courtrooms, the reputational war was spilling into the streets and screens of Hollywood. The fallout for Baldoni was immediate and brutal. According to The Guardian, several of his ongoing projects were paused indefinitely, and a Netflix production he was set to direct was quietly removed from the upcoming slate. For Blake Lively, the consequences were more complicated. On one hand, many fans and industry figures praised her for standing up and speaking out. Celebrities like America Ferrera, Florence Pugh, and even some of her Gossip Girl co-stars reportedly voiced quiet support. But the backlash was fierce too. Social media sentiment became increasingly polarized, with some accusing Lively of weaponizing fame and influence, while others accused Baldoni's defenders of protecting yet another powerful man in Hollywood. Her once spotless public image took visible dents. Major brand partners scaled back campaigns, and the promotional tour for It Ends With Us was overshadowed entirely by legal questions. Instead of interviews about filmmaking, every appearance turned into a courtroom Q&A. By the end of 2025, the world that once adored Blake Lively, the red carpet darling, the relatable mom, the Hollywood fashion icon, was divided. Some saw her as brave, others as manipulative. The hashtag #deserved downfall began trending ironically on TikTok, fueled by fans who felt betrayed by the polished image they once admired. What had started as a creative partnership had spiraled into a public implosion, not just of reputations, but of trust. And so the question remains, was it really deserved? For many critics, Blake Lively's fall wasn't misfortune, it was overdue. For years, she built an image of perfection. Flawless, stylish, and in control. But behind that image, some insiders claim she was calculating, fiercely protective of her brand, and willing to manipulate media narratives. When the lawsuit surfaced, her detractors argued she was using the NAR Me Too movement to shield herself while weaponizing her influence against Justin Baldoni. They pointed to her ties with elite PR teams and her history of controlling her press coverage. To them, her downfall symbolized accountability, not for one act, but for years of image management and selective activism. As The Guardian wrote, Lively played Hollywood's game too well until it turned on her. For critics, her deserved downfall wasn't about guilt, but about stripping away the illusion of perfection that once made her untouchable. Supporters argue Blake Lively's so-called downfall wasn't justice, it was retaliation. She followed the proper channels, filing with California's Civil Rights Department before going public, yet faced smear campaigns, edited leaks, and industry backlash. To them, she's another example of a woman punished for speaking out against power. The court rulings supported her, dismissing Baldoni's defamation suits and reaffirming her right to report harassment. Still, she endured online hate, brand hesitation, and media scrutiny far harsher than her male counterpart. The Lively Baldoni case reshaped Hollywood's conversation about power and accountability. It's no longer just a celebrity feud. It's a test of how the industry handles harassment claims among its elite. Studios have begun tightening on-set policies, citing lessons from the case. The CRD filing showed that even A-list stars can use official legal channels instead of relying on media trials. Yet the case also revealed deep public fatigue. Some now doubt every accusation, while others see renewed urgency in protecting survivors. For Hollywood, it's a moment of reckoning. Image no longer shields anyone. Both Lively and Baldoni's careers remain uncertain, and It Ends With Us has become a symbol of blurred lines between art and abuse. The fallout proved that in today's era of transparency, even the most curated public personas can collapse overnight. And truth, once weaponized, rarely leaves anyone unscarred. Blake Lively's story isn't just a scandal, it's a reflection of modern fame. She was the picture of perfection, the actress who had it all: beauty, power, and grace. But when she stood up, everything shifted. Whether her downfall feels deserved or tragic depends on perspective. Was it justice for hidden flaws, or punishment for breaking silence? What's undeniable is how her image fractured under public scrutiny. In a world that feeds on control and collapse, Blake's journey captures the cost of both. Maybe this wasn't a fall at all. Maybe it was a transformation. Because in 2026, when her trial begins, the real story might finally emerge. One that decides whether Blake Lively was Hollywood's manipulator or its latest casualty.